Welcome to this series on consumer behavior, buying, having, and being. This PowerPoint presentation contains mathematical equations. You may need to check and make sure the following player and plugins are installed: the Math Type plugin, the Math Player, and the NVDA Reader. This video begins with a look at the role of consumers. We will look at how consumers influence the field of marketing and how marketers influence consumers. Hey, let's get started. Learning objectives. Consumer behavior is a process. Marketers have to understand the wants and needs of different consumer segments. Our choices as consumers relate in powerful ways to the rest of our lives. Our motivations to consume are complex and varied. Technology and culture create a new, always-on consumer. Many types of specialists study consumer behavior, and there are differing perspectives regarding how and what we should understand about consumer behavior. In the early stages of development, researchers referred to the field as buyer behavior. Marketers now recognize that consumer behavior is an ongoing process and not merely what happens at one point in the transaction cycle. We call it the transaction of value between two or more in an exchange. It's an integral part of marketing, but consumer behavior recognizes that the entire consumption process is relevant to marketers. Consumption communities are where members share opinions and recommendations about anything from Barbie dolls to baseball fantasy league team lineups to iPhone apps. The use of market segmentation strategies means an organization targets its product, service, or idea only to specific groups of consumers rather than to everybody, even if it means that other consumers who don't belong to this target market aren't attracted to it. That's why they make chocolate and vanilla ice cream, and even candied bacon flavor. What is consumer behavior? The study of the processes involved when individuals or groups select, purchase, use, or dispose of products, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy needs and desires. A consumer is a person who identifies a need or desire, makes a purchase, and then disposes of the product. The purchaser or user might be the same person or not. You can see in the slide that there are 3 stages. 1, pre-purchase, 2, purchase, and 3, post-purchase. 4, reflection. How do you decide that you need a product? What about a purchase makes it pleasant or stressful for you? When using the product, what determines if the experience is pleasant? Learning objective 1.2. Marketers have to understand the wants and needs of different consumer segments. Marketers must understand the various consumer segments they are targeting in order to meet the segment's needs. In this ad, the woman is fed up with bad financial news. Bianco adjusted its message strategy to address the concerns of its audience. Many dimensions are relevant for understanding consumer needs and wants. Usage can help focus marketers' energies. In addition, there are many demographic variables that can help in understanding groups of consumers. Heavy users are the most faithful customers. And don't forget the 80-20 rule. 20% of users account for 80% of sales. Demographics are statistics that measure observable aspects of a population. Some of the most common demographic measures are age, gender, family structure, social class, race or ethnicity, and geography. Even lifestyles can be useful to marketers in that consumers may share demographic characteristics but have very different lifestyles. Marketers try to understand their customers and develop lifelong relationships. People who belong to the same social class are approximately equal in terms of their incomes and social standing in the community. This bank boastfully targets rednecks. Database marketing tracks specific consumers' buying habits very closely and crafts products and messages tailored precisely to people's wants and needs based on this information. The collection and analysis of extremely large data sets is called big data. In a single day, consumers create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. Big data can influence many areas of consumer life. For instance, monitoring of Google searches for fever and flu can help epidemiologists to identify specific areas of the United States that have been hit by flu outbreaks even before patients start visiting doctors and hospitals. Marketing influences popular culture, and popular culture influences marketing. Many people don't realize the extent to which marketers influence popular culture. Whether we're talking about music, movies, sports, or entertainment, these forms of popular culture both influence and are influenced by marketing. Role theory takes the view that much of consumer behavior resembles actions in a play. Self-concept attachment means that the product helps to establish the user's identity. This was one of our early points in the chapter. Nostalgic attachment means the product serves as a link to the consumer's past. Interdependence means that the product is a part of the user's daily routine. Love means that the product elicits emotional bonds of warmth, passion, or other strong emotions. For reflection, what kind of relationship do you have with your car? Do these feelings correspond to the types of relationships consumers may develop with products? And how do these relationships affect your behavior? People often buy products not for what they do, but for what they mean. Products play an extended role in our lives. Motivation refers to the processes that lead people to behave as they do. It occurs when a need is aroused that the consumer wishes to satisfy. Motivation refers to the processes that lead people to behave as they do. It occurs when a need is aroused that the consumer wishes to satisfy. The need creates a state of tension that drives the consumer to attempt to reduce or eliminate it. This need may be utilitarian or it may be hedonic. For reflection, describe a need and a want you have and explain the motivation for the want. Access to the internet is incredibly influential for consumer behavior. It changes who you may interact with, the information you can find, the choices you see as available, and the time and energy you spend dealing with various decisions. The internet has made it possible for businesses to use an additional channel of distribution, B2C e-commerce, but it's also made possible C2C e-commerce in the form of outlets like Etsy.com. You are likely at the forefront of the impact of the web on consumer behavior because you are a digital native. Digital natives grew up in a wired world. The web hasn't just changed consumer behavior by shifting our options in terms of channels of distribution, it's also made possible a whole new form of media that we call social media. The term digital native originated in a 2001 article to explain a new type of student who is starting to turn up on campus. These consumers grew up wired in a highly networked, always-on world where digital technology had always existed. Today, some of us wear tiny cameras that allow us to create a life log of every event we experience throughout the day. Internet of Things, or IoT. This term refers to the growing network of interconnected devices embedded in objects that speak to one another. You can see the impact of the IoT all around you, from the advent of autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars, to the smart home products that can automatically adjust your thermostat. We are witnessing a revolution in M2M, or machine-to-machine communication, that will profoundly change our lives. Self-driving cars are just the tip of the iceberg. Artificial intelligence, or AI applications that get better over time via machine learning already interact with us in the form of voice recognition software in digital assistants like Siri and Alexa, systems that process insurance claims, trade stocks, and diagnose exotic illnesses, and computer engineers are also introducing us to robot companions that serve us drinks and help disabled people to carry out routine tasks. And yes, it's true. Already several companies are working on sex bots that combine the physical realism of silicone dolls with the AI functionality that allows the user to maintain an actual relationship with his or her special android. For reflection, how has your daily life changed because of social media? What does your virtual life look like? Many types of specialists study consumer behavior. Table 1.1 identifies interdisciplinary research issues in consumer behavior. It illustrates the interdisciplinary nature of consumer behavior. This figure provides a glimpse at some of the disciplines working in the field and the level at which each tackles research issues. The fields closer to the top of the pyramid concentrate on individual behavior. Those toward the base are more interested in the aggregate activities that occur among large groups of people. For reflection, pick two of the disciplines shown in Figure 1.2. How would their approaches to the same marketing issue differ? We call a set of beliefs that guide our understanding of the world a paradigm. Some believe consumer behavior is in the midst of a paradigm shift, which occurs when a competing paradigm challenges the dominant set of assumptions. The basic set of assumptions underlying the dominant paradigm is positivism or modernism. It emphasizes that human reason is supreme and there is a single objective truth that science can discover. The newer paradigm of postmodernism questions these assumptions. This perspective argues that societal beliefs deny the complex social and cultural world in which we really live. A stash is a mixture of images and ideas in the interpretivist view. Consumer culture theory, or CCT, refers generally to research that regards consumption from a social and cultural point of view rather than more narrowly as an economic exchange. For reflection, how do you think the two paradigms of consumer research affect the choices marketers make in targeting consumer segments? Chapter summary. Consumer behavior is a process. Marketers have to understand the wants and needs of different consumer segments. Our choices as consumers relate in powerful ways to the rest of our lives. Our motivations to consume are complex and varied. Technology and culture create a new always-on consumer. Many types of specialists study consumer behavior, and there are differing perspectives regarding how and what we should understand about consumer behavior. Thank you for watching this video. Please check out the other chapters in this consumer behavior series. Hey, thanks again.